This president and the federal government has literally declared war on poor people. I remember a time when presidents declared war on poverty. The federal government has a moral responsibility to do unto the least of these. And that's what we're doing in the city of Chicago.
So let me ask you, Mr. Mayor, those all sound like great programs. I'm curious, would you also like to get federal funding to help put 5,000 more cops on the street in Chicago? Would that help drive down crime?
Well, look, policing by itself is not the full strategy.
No, I understand that. You've talked about the other things you want, and I said those are good and important programs, but I'm asking also, would 5,000 more police officers on the street in Chicago be helpful to go along with all of those social programs that a lot of cities are engaging in and having success with?
Well, look, here's the best way I can put it, Joe, is that in the 90s when I was in high school, we had 3,000 more police officers and we had 900 people being murdered every single year in Chicago. It's just not policing alone. Of course, we want more detectives.
I know it's not policing alone, but I know it's not policing alone. You've told me everything else you want. I'm curious, and this does come down to an ideological difference between people. Do you believe that the streets of Chicago would be safer if there were more uniformed police officers on the streets of Chicago?
I believe the city of Chicago and cities across America would be safer if we actually had, affordable housing. Look,
okay, but that's not the question I asked. My question is, and I just need a yes or a no, do you believe the streets of Chicago would be safer if you got all of those other extraordinary programs put back into place, which do have a history of being successful, if that's complemented by having 5,000 more cops on the streets of Chicago?
I don't believe that we should narrow it down to just police officers.
I can't take it, bro. I can't take it. I don't know how the people of Chicago are satisfied with this mayor. I don't know how y'all decided to basically hire a geography teacher or whatever the hell that he taught. I don't know how y'all are okay with him spending all of this money on illegal migrants into y'all city and not truly wanting the help of the federal government to make sure that he completely eliminates crime altogether. They want $800 million so that they can fill their budget deficit, but they don't want to do the work and get the extra troops that come with it. This guy is sickening, bro. He's absolutely despicable. I think that Brandon Johnson, I can't say that he's the worst because he's neck and neck with Karen Bass. He's neck and neck with the Los Angeles mayor. He's neck and neck with Brandon Johnston or Mike Johnston down in Denver. They running these cities into the ground. J.B. Pritzker is doing his little press conference while at the same time telling the city of Chicago, no, I am not going to fill your $734 million school deficit that you guys are running up. You got the highest property taxes. You're mismanaging money. He said, no, y'all not going to get no help with your $1.2 to $1.6 billion budget deficit annually. That means that it increases every single year. Every single year. And then even on MSNBC here, where you guys are watching, which is a liberal network, they lean towards content that is against Trump. They ask him 4 times that we just watched it. 4 times they ask him, would you want 5,000 more police officers on the street in addition to whatever programs that you got going on and which you juicing the numbers to try to make it seem like you're actually lowering crime? And what does he say? No. No. And the reason that I say no is because not answering the question is just as much of a no, and pushing the narrative and moving the goalposts and not answering anything is just as bad as saying no.
what I'm saying. That is an antiquated approach. I'm saying we've invested in detectives.
Mr. Mayor, are you hearing what I'm saying? I'm agreeing with you that all of these other social programs are extraordinarily important. I just need a yes or a no, and then this will be the last time I ask. If you get all of those other social programs that 800 million that New York City does, Los Angeles, other people do with great success, would an additional 5,000 cops on the streets in Chicago help complement those programs to make Chicago safer?
Look, we are working hard to make sure that our police department is fully supported.
I couldn't do it, bro. I just couldn't do it. I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see how y'all deal with this guy that continue to try to posture, pander. I mean, I've already seen it. I've witnessed it multiple different times covering this guy since back when Biden was in office, in which Chicago flips red, or, you know, people that come to the microphone, or people that try to ask in these city council meetings or these budget meetings. When they ask him a question, he just ignores them. He don't care nothing about what they talking about. He gonna say what he gonna say. He gonna do what he gonna do. And he don't care about the people of Chicago the way that y'all think that he cares about the people of Chicago. Who would turn down federal help except for to spite Trump, even though you're spiting your own city, your own citizens, and yourself? I got a review video that's coming out, I don't know, in an hour and a half, 2 hours after I drop this one, where they basically robbed Nordstrom's on the Magnificent Mile that's experiencing historic rates of vacancy in what used to be one of the most prominent shopping areas, not only in Chicago, but the Midwest.
I don't believe that just simply putting out an arbitrary number around police officers is the answer. What I'm saying is policing and affordable housing. It's policing and mental and behavioral health care services. It's policing and youth employment. It's a full package. Of course, we want to make sure that our police department is fully supported. That's why I've invested in our Detectives Bureau, because what we have seen in the city of Chicago, when we solve crime, it acts and serves as a deterrent. It's policing and all of the other efforts that.
See, the thing about it is that he'll say, I invested in the Detectives Bureau, which is a small segment of police officers, when in reality, they're actually down over 2,000 police officers, and they've been down over 2,000 police officers, which actually balloons the police budget, because what? You have to have a bunch of police officers working overtime, and they don't have the funding or the staffing, or they've mismanaged the funds that they have inside of the Chicago Police Department that does not serve the people. And so when I see this person continuing to posture and pivot and don't want to act, you know why he don't want to say it? Because he don't want to say, yo, Trump, we need y'all assistance. When in reality, if they actually played ball, because they so against him, they so against Republicans, if they actually played ball, maybe they could get the funding that they needed in order to be successful. But no, they don't want to play ball. They didn't want to help the Trump administration get illegal migrants off the street when they were arrested, and then they get handed over, or they get called and they work with the federal government in order to get illegal migrants committing crimes deported out of the United States. But they didn't want to do that. They don't care about that. You know what I reported on? The fact that these people were actually helping illegal migrants buy homes back when Biden was in office. That's a fact.
We're doing. Here's the last thing that I'll say to that. The federal government could work stronger to coordinate with my police department to get guns off the streets of Chicago. We've seen these coordination efforts work. Just a couple of weeks ago, the ATF working with my police department, we removed over 150 guns off the streets of Chicago that were trafficked in through Mississippi and Indiana. No one is saying that police officers don't play an incredible role in driving safety. They play an absolute pivotal role in that. But we have asked law enforcement to do too much. Police officers are being asked to be social workers, counselors. What I'm simply saying is, if we're going to build safe and affordable cities across America, the one thing that safe communities all have in common, they invest in people. We have a poverty issue in the city of Chicago and cities across America. Police officers alone will not put food on the table. Police officers alone.
Well, part of the reason that y'all got a poverty issue is because y'all running all of the business. Don't worry about it. We'll get there. Anyways, let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Teach Henley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. I love you. I appreciate you. Let me know what y'all think about Mayor Brandon Johnson of Chicago turning down Trump's help.